We're just about in a moment going to be going live. We are live on the YouTubes. And now, ladies and people, we are going live on Facebook Live. Hold it, hold for it, hold for it, wait for it, wait for it. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, moms and dads, children of all persuasions and ages. My name is Tony Vicich, and you are watching Living on a Thin Line with Tony Vicich. We come to you every day, 2 p.m. our time. And you know what? You're going to have to be responsible for yourselves to figure out what time it is where you are. 2 p.m. our time, and we are your daily distraction while the anger, anxiety, weirdness, hoopla, and weirdness. I screwed up the whole tag to the show. We are your daily distraction while the anger, anxiety, weirdness, and hoopla in the world today. The show is brought to you on 3 platforms: Comedy Schools or RadioNetwork.com, where you can listen, and plenty of shows are archived there. If you ever go, man, I don't think a half hour of this guy is quite enough. I need Mo. How do you like it? How do you like it? How do you like your podcast? Also, we're on YouTube on the Comedy Skills channel and here on Facebook Live. The show is on 3 platforms. It is built around 3 things. It is built around your questions and comments as you jump in. Champ de Blasio, by the way, I see that you're on. I saw a recent Facebook conversation you and I had about music. I got stuff for you today. I got stuff for you, Champ. If you will stick around till the second half of the show, I think you'll like it very, very much. And that's the third part of the show is we recommend one artist or one album, sometimes 2, one artist or one piece of music of our vast vinyl album and CD collection. And I've got something really great and fun today that I think people get a kick out of. So I've got that. We also answer your questions and comment back on your comments. We comment on a comment. Comment on a comment as you make them here on the aforementioned social media sites. And usually sometime we have some weird knickknack, something laying around the house, some autographs, some memorabilia, some piece of fluff that we share with you and try to weave a story around. Hello, Tina and Mike. Hello, Sergey. Is it Sergey? I'm sorry. Is it Sergey or Sergey? I think it's Sergey. You know how many good friends I have, and I mean good friends, that I know strictly from social media? Yeah, social media has probably turned out to be not what we all thought that it could be at the dawn of the social media revolution. I mean, Facebook started in 2007. Twitter, and like a lot of adults, I didn't pay much attention to it the first couple of years. Twitter starting, I forget exactly when, but it did. And it hasn't been. Kevin Roberts, hello, sir. Hello, Colonel. It hasn't really turned out to be the positive benefit on planet Earth that we thought it could be, although there are some positives. Now, some of the positives is, hello, Solomon Diaz. Some of the positives are close new friends like Solomon Diaz, who I've met at JP's Comedy Club. Very funny guy, Solomon Diaz. We're able to commune more. That's Reverend Colonel to you. Kevin Roberts, who is both a Reverend and a Colonel, and is the guy who sponsored me into the Kentucky Colonel. So I'm a Colonel too. And now I'd like to be a Pepper. And Kevin, wouldn't you like to be a Pepper too? Kevin Roberts up in Detroit. Champ de Blasio, who I've never met, but have admired very much so from our time commuting, writing back and forth to one another on social media. The Lawsons, man, Tina and Mike, people I've known from Mike Lawson, who I've known from since I was just a little bitty baby, since I was about 10 years old, back in Hale Springs, Missouri. That is one of the benefits. Sergey Putin is also someone who I've never met, but have really enjoyed seeing his postings and conversations on social media. That's the positive. I don't need to go into the negative. You know what the negative is. Man, I put up a post today, and I actually put it up late last night, and it said, saying you don't believe in the pandemic is like saying you don't believe in tornado. Trying to be pithy. According to a mean old man who lives in my neighborhood who quit the board of directors and is now trying to get me kicked off the board of directors by having other people run against me, I'm not funny. But you're not funny. That's what I put up. trying to be pithy at least. People who don't believe in the pandemic, saying you don't believe in the pandemic is like saying you don't believe in tornado. And there was several comments on it, almost all of them in agreement. And one woman put up, so true, I've lost so many loved ones. That's what the woman put up. The woman who comments on a regular basis. And then a guy who I think I've met once or twice in the greater Scottsdale area in years past, more of a tech guy. He then put up there, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. I blocked so many people. Let's talk about blocking in just a moment. But I thought, what kind of guy sits there in his house or in his backyard or wherever and reads social media posts, and when a woman posts, I've lost so many loved ones to the disease, thinks it's a good idea to go, no, you didn't. I mean, sweet Jesus Marie. I mean, I have gone on strangers' posts and said some ignorant stuff, but I've never done that. And that's what it turned us into a lot. Kevin Brown says, MySpace turned into my Facebook, where you can one day Instagram me instead of email me. But if you'd like, hold on, I got to read the rest of this. But if you'd like, you ask, WhatsApp. WhatsApp. I love it. 2020, Murder Hornets, Greek Hurricane, and now, wait for it, Zoom Dick. Yeah, there is a story that's making the rounds right now that Jeffrey Toobin, a very respected and smart legal analyst, has been temporarily suspended, or maybe permanently, I don't know, from New Yorker magazine, and also is taking a leave of absence from CNN, where he's been their main legal consultant for many years, for showing his penis in a Zoom meeting. Now, Jeffrey Toobin claims it was an accident. He thought that he had the camera muted and the microphone muted, and he didn't. I don't think he was up there waving around, going, woo, woo, look at me, look at me. I don't think it was that. But my pithy rejoinder to any of that is that Jeffrey Toobin temporarily suspended for accidentally showing his penis on Zoom, yet Trump shows his ass every day on TV and still has his gig. So, oh, wait, I got to finish reading the rest of Kevin Brown's comment. To that, I tell you, just shut up and let's just Snapchat. See right there. Now, Kevin Brown wants to chat about snaps. And I don't know what that means. And this is important to the show today. But I just waved in front of me, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I've started blocking quite a few people. There was a time when I didn't block anyone. There was a time I didn't block anyone at all, because I wanted to hear all sides. But then I realized that there was something that is basically a troll. I've got a guy in my own neighborhood with this whole board of directors things call me a cockroach and a human cockroach. And I go, I don't need to talk to this guy. A guy who threatens to sue me all the time. I go, I don't need to talk to this guy. I don't need to talk to him. There's no need for it. There's a lot of people who I massively respect who have opinions that are polar opposite of mine. Political beliefs, polar opposite of mine. Cultural ideas completely different than mine, that I could talk with without having to see what I saw today. There was no call for it. But I tell you what, most people don't do it to your face. Man, when I was a kid, you hang out in a bar, somebody said, fuck you. The next thing that happened was fuck you too. And there was bar fights, by the way, were always funny. And I tell you why, because there was a reasonable expectation they get broke up rather quickly by the bouncers. You know? So I noticed over time that sometimes people were tougher in bars than they were other places. And people sure in the hell are a lot tougher on Facebook. Perhaps me too. I don't know. Let's get to the stuff. Sullivan, are you going to come in here? I've got one of my co-hosts here today, Sullivan Ramirez, my grandson. We got a full house, man. My daughter's out visiting. It was so cool this morning. So cool in this house this morning because my daughter was downstairs teaching her class and my grandson was upstairs in one of the rooms learning on his class. And there he is. Say hi, Sullivan. And we got dogs running around. It's nice out. And Shirley and I are bopping around. She's trying to make eggs and then running up to help Sullivan. I go, this is great. I mean, that I get to do this point in my life. Sullivan, if you can find it, do you know where Ray is? We're looking for Ray. For those of you who know or don't know, if you bring him on camera here, Sullivan, There we go. Be gentle with him. It is. Bring him over here so people can see him now. There we go. That is. All right, that's good. Thank you.
He's gonna bite me.
He's gonna bite you. That is Ray the Wonder Cat. Many of you know the story of Ray about what now, Cheryl? 6-7 weeks ago?
8.
8 weeks ago, my wife was in Casa Grande. She was in Casa Grande, and she was leaving a family member's house, and there was a dumpster next to it because of construction. And now I know the full story. First, she goes, I found a cat in a dumpster, but it was trying to get out of the dumpster. It was less than a day old, still had its umbilical cord attached. It crawling out. And Shirley then grabbed it, fished it out of the dumpster, brought it home, and you just saw him here. He's now 8 weeks old and healthy as a horse. He might be a horse. It actually might be a very small, hairy horse. We don't know. But for those of you who have been following the progress of Ray the Wonder Cat, knowing that the rules of the universe say, even if you don't like animals, if you're walking by a dumpster and someone's thrown an animal in it, you must rescue that animal. That those are the laws of the universe. By the way, they don't apply to a hobo. The hobo's asleep in a dumpster, probably where he lives. That you have to rescue him. We have rescued, Solomon. He's had a few names. Ray the Wildcat. I had a name I gave him initially that we dropped because people thought it would give him a complex. We've now named him Ray the Wonder Cat because he's a wonder because he's alive. And I tell you what, the way he's bugging these dogs is you wonder if he makes it a year because he thinks these dogs are his play toys, and they are not. Anyway, Ray is doing well. Ray is doing great. Let's see what the other comments are we got here. Kevin Brown says, bouncers are people's safety net. Like talking shit inside their car, but never in an elevator. I love that. People do. They'll talk shit in their car, but never on an elevator. They will challenge when someone says, I'm bereaved because I've lost people. You know who you are. You're watching. Someone goes, I've lost so many. They go, no, you didn't. They wouldn't do it in an elevator. They just wouldn't. Maybe that should be the standard. Kevin Brown, you might have hit on something. Would you say what you say on social media if you were in an elevator with someone? Would you say what you say on social media if they were standing there with two of their friends? Kirk Nermy, I am sorry I did not make. I know there was a great show last night at Stir Crazy Comedy Club where my partner and friend in not crime but comedy, Jim Perry, opened, and it was Overcoming Jody Area starring Kirk Nermy. Kirk, where are you? Right here. I saw you here. And I missed you guys too. I miss you guys very much. I hope you do the show again. I hope you get a chance to see it. Tina might say, be drinking with each other next day and fighting the night before. You know, we can go into our childhood here if you want to. Mr. Lawson. Fred Scott says, hooray, Ray. Let's see. Kirk Nermy said, how did the horse become a measure of health? Because they tried riding goats and they collapsed. And then they tried riding, I'm making this up, but they rode a horse and it still kept standing. Healthy as a horse. I don't know. I don't know the entomology of it, Kirk. You've got a college degree. Why don't you tell me? Now, the other thing that's going on right now that I want to talk about before we get to the music, yes, I can talk about Donald Trump, and I've already talked about rudeness, so there's no sense doing that again. And I hope you're staying safe. You know, I hope you're wearing masks. I had to go to the doctor today. Nothing big, nothing major. I had to go to a doctor, see a doctor. I was trying to score some speed. No, that's not true. That's not true. And I forgot my mask. And generally there's masks all over my car, but we kind of cleaned out some of that. And we've had a few people with us in the last couple of days, family members. I forgot a mask. Oh, here's one. We got one in the car. And I had no mask. Naked face. I was barebacking through southern Arizona. And I walked in. As soon as I walked in, they went, sir. And I go, I forgot my mask. I need to purchase one. And they go, well, we have them for sale. I said, I need a mask. I figured they'd give me one. It's a damn doctor's office. They got plenty of masks. It's a doctor's office. They go, we'll sell you one. Sell me one. So I said, okay. And they had two types on sale. Paper ones. They said, we got a paper one. We got cloth ones for $5. I said, all I got is a credit card. They go, the cloth ones are cash. The woman said, I'm selling them myself. And I don't know how well this doctor's office is doing if the receptionist is hustling homemade masks. But so I had to buy one. It cost $1, and it was the worst damn mask because instead of having ear loops, I had to tie it in the back, and it was just ew. So I went through that, and then I came home and I found this. I want to show it to you. Can you see that? I look like a snakehead. I'll show it to you there. Snakehead. What is this? Do you know what this is? This is a human bone. It is a part of a clavicle. This was in a human being one time who struggled and strived just like you and I do. He died. Somehow he got hunked up instead of buried. And you can buy human bones online. You can buy human bones. Now, I know I could have ended up, and Kelly Wilson, I think you were a part of this. Kelly Wilson is here. Hey, Kelly. Way back when I was in high school, me and I don't know if it was you, Kelly, and possibly Craig, decided to try to sell our bodies for science so we could score more alcohol and other illicit chemicals and compounds because we get $600 or $1,200. We sold our body to science. That way, when we died, they got us and they could hunk us up for experiments. I don't. But I think we got really drunk and we were in the city and we were college kids and we couldn't find a place to sell our bodies. I think we actually went into some place in Washington University. Go, hey, we will sell our bodies to science, man. Hey, man, we'd like to sell our bodies to science. You know how much money we get? And they just threw us out. But apparently, whoever was the original owner of this clavicle, me and Wayne, maybe. Yeah, maybe it was Wayne Schrader. I think Craig or Sam. It had to be Kelly Wilson. Either you had to be involved, and you don't want to admit it now because you're a respectable human being, and I don't blame you. It had to be a combination of me and you and our Wayne and our Craig and our Sam that went down to Washington University trying to sell our bodies science so we could buy marijuana and beer and get a whole bunch of it. Anyway, whoever had this clavicle succeeded. Kelly Wilson, I had the card, and it had to be you. It had to be you. And it ended up on the floor. My house is there's a little office full of all sorts of, toys and games and records and CDs and all this stuff in here. And also the human bone, I just kind of have sit on my desk and I flip around sometime. I was joking with my wife one year when she's, what do you want for Christmas? I went, a human bone. And she actually got me one. One of my dogs got a hold of it and ate it. And the dog was Chica, the Chihuahua. The Chihuahua.
She didn't eat it all.
No, she didn't eat it all because I found it. Now, I give these damn dogs bones and treats all day. These dogs are more spoiled than anybody you could possibly imagine, more than most human beings. Somehow she found this human bone, my human bone, not the one from in my body, because they couldn't sell it to science. Because Kelly, let's admit it, I think, Kelly, you might have went with us trying to talk. You, Kelly, used to go with us a lot of places trying to talk us out of whatever we were doing. You don't want to go, no, don't do that, guys. You don't want to be a wet blanket, but you were trying to reason with us as we were off getting ready to do something insane so that by the time we got there, we decided not to or not try that hard. My dog ate a hunk off my human bone. So if you want to know, people are going, what should we get Tony for Christmas? I know you're thinking that. And a lot of you are going, bobblehead. Get him a bobblehead. He likes bobbleheads. I would like a new human bone because my dog just ate my bone. My dog ate my bone. You heard about the old excuse, my dog ate my homework? In this case, my dog Chica ate my human bone. There's nothing in this house that really belongs to me. Nothing at all. Kelly Wilson said pierced ears, earrings. Are you want to talk about the time we all got our ears pierced? At Sam's trailer? When the girls were hanging out with us, did it with and they put ice on it, and then mine got all infected. And then I used to wear like a cross, hanging cross, and I did pass out drunk on a pillow. When I get up and hooked to the pillow, and I'd scream. You want me to talk about that? You want me to talk about what happened in 1972? No, I won't. But I will talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, by the way, I want to tell you something. We got great shows every weekend, all the time. This weekend at JP's Comedy Club, jpscomedyclub.com. 860 East Warner Road in Gilbert, Arizona. It is Brian Kahatsu, who is warming up for his dry bar special. Very funny, great guy, local comic, Brian Kahatsu, okay, will be doing what is right now one of the benchmarks in comedy specials, the Dry Bar special. They're filmed in Utah, and they're like the hot thing to do right now. Arizona's own Brian Kahatsu will be doing one, and he'll be doing he'll be headlining JP's this weekend. JP's this weekend. So you want to check that out. Tonight, by the way, I will be at JP's Comedy Club, jpscomedyclub.com, holding a free audit to my stand-up comedy workshops. Stand-up comedy workshops, 7:30 p.m. If you're in the greater Phoenix area and you're looking for something to do tonight, safe social distancing, no charge, no hard sell. If you like what you hear, like what you see, we will get you signed up, and you'll join us for 5 weeks. But I'll be there if you'd like to come by and say hi. Some other people have joined in here. Will Flanagan, one-time great reporter with the Arizona Republic, now on his own independently and producing some great social media content. Bob Rocky's here. Cheryl, Bob Rocky has decided to show up. Now, Bob did a show in Prescott, Arizona, and that's how it's Prescott, not Prescott. Prescott, Arizona, I believe, Saturday night. Maybe it was Friday. And he called me because he was nervous, as I have done 100 times before a show. Reach out to someone, because I was nervous. Okay? And I talked to him. And my daughter happened to be sitting there with me. We were sitting on the back porch. I gave him the pep talk that had been given me 100 times when I was nervous before a show somewhere in the country. Call a friend, call a buddy, call a pal, call a mentor, call somebody. Go, hey, man, I'm just kind of freaking out about this show. And this morning or yesterday, my daughter said to me, hey, that guy who called me, he's nervous. Did he call you after and tell you how it was? I said, no, you never get that call. You never get the thank you, man. Your talk helped me really be able to get out there and kick it out. We only get the call, oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, I'm scared. Oh, I'm nervous. Oh, all of a sudden my pants don't fit because I've been eating like a pig because my inner self-loathing still hasn't been worked through, and now my addiction has moved on to food. No, you never get that call. Where they go, thank you, Master Man. That's why the Lone Ranger existed, just to get the thank you. But Bob, I'm glad you killed. And by killed, I'm assuming that you're saying that people laughed too hard and you didn't do something untoward on the highway headed home. Let's get to the music. I promised Champ de Blasio I'd have something special for him today, and here it is. You can't really make that out. I'm going to show it to you on YouTube. Okay, you can kind of see the album art. And what this is, it is simply called 1957 Starlight Drive-In. This was a series of two-sided double albums that was put out by something called the Starlight Drive-In. And this was the rock and roll era, and these were digital remasters, but still vinyl. And what this is 1957, many of the major hits of 1957. And, when you think about the great rock and roll era of the 50s, you don't really assign a year. And I was 2 years old in 1957, which means that when I was just a little bitty baby and my mama was rocking me in the cradle back in old St. Louis, these songs were coming out of the radio. And these are some of the songs that came out in 1957 that still resonate and reverberate today and are still being cut by artists today. They were made in the 50s, but many of them were revered by the rock era in the 60s and 70s, into the 80s, all the way into the music of today. So much as was sampled. Side one, Whole Lot of Shaking Going On by Jerry Lewis came out in 1957. Come Go With Me by the Del Vikings, what a great doo-wop tune. I'm Walking by the legendary Fats Domino. Champ, you were a sophomore in high school. This was your stuff, man. This is what you and your buddies were listening to in the car. I'm Walking by Fats Domino. Beautiful song. Keep a Knocking by Little Richard. I hear you knocking, but you can't come in. Happy Birthday by the Tune Weavers. I'm not familiar with the one. At the Hop by Danny and the Juniors. Wake Up Little Susie by the Everly Brothers. CC Rider by Chuck Willis. The original Jim Dandy. My generation knew it from Black Oak, Arkansas. Laverne Baker. Susie Q, my generation knew it in the 60s from Creedence Clearwater Revival, done by Dale Hawkins. Side 3 kicks off with another great Jerry Lee Lewis hit, Great Balls of Fire. Then one of the greatest doo-wop songs in the history of doo-wop, Little Darling, oh, Little Darling, Searching by the Coasters. Mr. Lee, side 4 kicks off with a man who probably without him, rock music wouldn't be what it was. Buddy Holly's Peggy Sue. School Days by Chuck Berry. Definitely rock and roll would be what rock and roll was, or rock music or pop music in America for the last 50, 60, 70 years. School Day, up in the morning and off to school. Young Blood by the Coasters. Party Doll by Buddy Knox, which I love. Come along and be my party doll. Short Fat Fanny and Could This Be Magic? All in 1957. Now, here's the weird thing is so many people still know these songs. So these songs are still played. These songs are redone. Buddy Holly is still cut by artists today. Jerry Lee Lewis, there will be few that ever come across our path again like Jerry Lee. So many great songs that came out in 1957. And we've just got them lumped together as the 50s. But they stayed with us even after many of these people passed on to their careers faded. So what am I going to recommend, man? I should recommend a whole album, but I just want to find something here just to give you an idea of what the doo-wop era was like. I'm going to recommend 2 from this. Little Darling by the Diamonds. Oh, Little Darling. And Party Doll by Buddy Knox. Sure, I could go with the Jerry Lee Lewis or the Buddy Holly or the Fats Domino, you know, the Biggers or At the Hop. But if we go with those, Little Darling and Party Doll, you'll really hear what doo-wop was about. You really hear what teenagers were listening to at that time. And when you listen to them, I want you to think about them, because you see teenagers today with their windows rolled down and music. And we go, but I want you to think back to the 50s. I want you to think back to my buddy Champ. Maybe you had a buddy with a drop-top car. We had those cars. You probably had cars from the 40s because they were used cars. Maybe somebody got to borrow their dad's 56 Chevy or 57 Ford Fairlane 500. Drive around on a Saturday night with the windows down. This was the music coming out of the cars. This was the music you turned up to let people know that you were there. Because that's what a lot of that is about.
What were they?
Little Darling by the Diamonds and Party Doll by Buddy Knox. Champ says, I saw many of those perform as my first concert, the Ellen Freed Rock and Roll Show in Pittsburgh. What memories. Jesus Christ, that is one of the most legendary concerts in the history of rock and roll. Alan Freed being the legendary DJ that helped usher in rock and roll and have it spread through America via radio. And Champ, you were there. So kudos to you, sir. Present at the dawn, present at the creation. You think about it, that's what they were listening to. 10 years later, 1967, totally different sound. But the same thing. 67, 77, young people, America, cars, music. And that's what we got to preserve. That's the freedom. That's the freedom. America, Saturday night, cars, music. What did you listen to driving on Saturday night when you were 15, 16, 17 years old? What did you listen to? What was the music that grabbed you and made you feel like somebody when you listened to it? That was the music in 1957. We'll find out more as we go down. I've got some other things like that. We'll talk about that more later on. All right, that's our show for today. I showed you a chewed up human bone. A dog who ate a human bone exists in my house. Ray the Wonder Cat, fine and healthy. You saw my grandson Sullivan. Told you about my day. Told you about what I think needs to be done. Maybe manners-wise with social media. Maybe I'm not the one to talk about that. But that's all the things we talked about. We'll be back tomorrow. Hold on, there's something jumped up. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of Living on a Thin Line with Tony Vicich. That's it. That's all. We're gone. Bye-bye.